As an artist, I work primarily with acrylic, but I also tend to add collage and also other mark making into my art with pencils or crayons or whatever's at hand. This painting is 30 by 30, so it's a fairly big painting. And I started out, as I start with all my paintings, with a lot of experimentation and improvisation. So when I started, I was working with those pale green and orange and blue-gray colors and putting a lot of layers on, and there was a lot of activity and it was getting pretty chaotic. And so as I was looking at it and deciding to calm it down, I brought in that big blue shape and more of the white, and it started to look kind of like a imagination-based geography. And so I brought in a little piece of map collage, and it looked kind of like an ocean. So I brought in a little piece of collage that has a quote from Moby Dick, which is where I get the title, The Watery Part of the World. And so now when I finally brought it together, it has this feel of a map, but a map of the imagination. And there's still a lot of texture in it, even in the blue area, which is a fairly big block of color. If you look, you can see lots of the painted texture from the layers that came before.
Susie, I'm getting some nice comments on the chat about how folks are loving this.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
This painting, this is a littler painting, but I was working on it alongside the big blue painting, just as I was thinking about the composition. So you can see that there's some similarity with that big blue shape in the upper left and the white area down below. But this one's kind of faster and grittier. And I like that about it. It has some energy and quickness and grittiness to it. And that's why I called it Dirty Girl. So it's a nice compliment to the other one. It's not as refined, but it's got a nice energy to it. So I like this one too.
Yeah, it's really cool. I love that blue. Is that like a cerulean or a manganese blue?
It's actually a mix of primary cyan, which is kind of a blue-green, and some ultramarine. I often mix those two.
Okay.
Very pretty.
Yeah, really pretty.
Thank you.
Okay.
And then this one, I also included this one. This is an earlier painting, and it also came about with that experimentation and improvisation. And it also emerged as kind of looking like an imaginary map. And so even though this one came about kind of spontaneously, I think I had it in the back of my mind as I was working on the blue painting. And so I could learn from this painting and what was successful about this painting as I was bringing the blue painting to its final stages. So I think those two work nicely as a pair as well.
Isn't that interesting how our work informs, each piece we do informs the next piece and the next piece.
Yeah. Yeah, you end up with this encyclopedia of your own personal process and knowledge and things that worked and things that didn't work and things you want to delve into more. And that's nice.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So this one, I was thinking about yellow. I was interested in yellow, and so I was mixing a bunch of different kinds of yellow, some warmer, some a little greener, some lighter, and then also balancing it with the different colors. I was experimenting with those gray greens and the reds, and then these shapes started emerging, and they started having a conversation with each other. So you have all these sort of vessel shapes that have some similarities, but are also pretty distinct. The big red one, the green one in the lower left, the kind of pale one that if you look really close, you can see it in the middle, the skinny one up on the left, and the little mushroom guy down below. And finally, it kind of snapped into a nice composition, and then it was done.
Yeah. I like that little bit of red around the circle on the left. Really pulls your eye over.
And if everybody remembers that, you will see that Stephanie in her paintings likes circles in her paintings.
That's right. I didn't even think of that when I said that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yellow's my favorite color, so I really love this one.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. And this is the last one. I'm very excited about this painting. This is The one, if you heard me talking before, I have to paint the back and get it all gussied up to go to the gallery this week. But this was a panel that's been kicking around in my studio with the experimental, the experimental style that I've been talking about. You try something and it doesn't work, and you set it aside and you try something else, and these panels build up a lot of layers and activity, but for a while it doesn't work. But when I decided to try to work on it and calm some areas down, and when I put that yellow green shape in the upper left, and it was next to that black V that was there already, and that orange was peeking through from before, then I knew I had a painting. And so the rest of my work on this painting was just refining the rest of it and getting it into balance. And I added those pieces of collage with the spidery ink marks on it. And it ends up kind of reminding me of a mid-century modern kind of vibe, which is why I called it Cha-Cha-Cha.
Yeah, those collage pieces are definitely mid-century, like the graphic of a mid-century modern.
Yeah.
So cool.
And that's
I'm
it.
always so impressed with the way that you incorporate collage into your work. I think you've got such a great hand at combining collage and painting in a way that they integrate seamlessly and inform each other. Really beautiful.
Thank you.
Very nice.